On camera, this probably doesn't look that bad. But behind the wheel, you can sure feel it. And normally, I'd probably just keep driving it and deal with it later. But this time, later really isn't an option. Because in a few weeks, we're taking this old 1998 Jeep Cherokee over 2,500 kilometers through the Rocky Mountains, pulling our custom trailer, loaded with camping gear, a rooftop tent, and everything we need to turn this into a real family adventure. But before any of that happens, this Jeep needs work.
Alright, so this officially starts the Rockies prep. In a few weeks' time, we'll be taking our 1998 Jeep Cherokee on a roughly 2,500 kilometer road trip through the Rocky Mountains. We're headed to Leduc for a wedding, but don't worry, I won't be filming that. We plan on stopping at Rocky Mountain House to do some camping, and that's what I really want to capture on film. This old Jeep has 395,000 kilometers. It's loud, it rattles, but honestly, that's kind of why I love it. But there's a difference between taking this thing on back roads locally and asking it to pull a trailer through the Rocky Mountains.
Now, don't get me wrong, I trust this Jeep, but I also know how old it is. And right now, there's a few things I don't want to gamble on.
So the first thing that really made me stop and pay attention was this passenger tire. I knew the Jeep had a shake, but I didn't realize how bad it was till I actually looked at the tire and I realized there's something going on with this wear. And that's the problem around planning a trip like this. Problems that wouldn't be a big issue around town suddenly become a big problem when you're about to take them on a 2,500 kilometer road trip through the Rocky Mountains.
The driver's side doesn't look the same. This passenger side, though, is showing wear that tells me something in the front end isn't happy. And I already know that I got ball joint play, so at this point, the trip prep basically starts here. Before I start throwing parts at it, I want to actually get the tire off and see what I'm dealing with. There's something about lifting an old Jeep that instantly turns a small job into a bigger one. And once the wheel is off, it's pretty darn clear this trip prep is going to be more than just an oil change and a quick look over.
So this is the tire that actually starts it. You can actually feel the high and low spots. And so before I start throwing money at the front end parts, I'm gonna swap the tires around.
The tire is just a symptom. The real problem is somewhere in the steering. Suspension, alignment, our ball joints. But before this Jeep sees the Rockies, I need to deal with it properly. So I greased what I could, checked what I could, and the tie rods didn't show obvious movement with the pry bar, but the ball joints did. This is a part of old Jeep ownership that never really shows up in the pretty camping videos. Before you get mountain views, the campfires, the rooftop tent, and the good memories, you kinda gotta deal with this. Dirty hands, worn parts, mystery noises, and that little voice in the back of your head asking if you're actually going to get this thing ready in time.
All right, so the test drive is done, but guess what? The shake is still there. So obviously swapping the tires from the back to the front didn't fix anything. And I kind of already knew that, but I just wanted confirmation for myself. So at this point, I'm not going to pretend like this is a repair. This is more like me confirming with myself that the front end needs work.
This isn't the big fix yet. This is just the beginning. The test drive told me what I already knew. Moving the tire around might change how it feels. The ball joints need to be replaced, and I ordered adjustable track bar as well. I've known that the fuel pump is on its way out, so I've already had one in stock. So before it quits halfway through this trip, we're gonna get it done.
So this is where the Rockies prep really starts. I've got 3 weekends to get this Jeep ready, and the list is this long. Ball joints, track bar, fuel pump, transmission cooler, transmission flush, oil change, heater core, diff fluids, and I also got to check the trailer out before this trip. And honestly, it sounds like a lot, but I'm not trying to build the perfect rig right now. It's about taking what we have and fixing what needs to be fixed. This whole thing is probably going to turn into a mini series. The prep, the problems, the fixes, and then hopefully the actual road trip through the Rocky Mountains. We're headed to Leduc first for a wedding, and then after that to Rocky Mountain House for some camping. And that is where I really want all this work to pay off, and making sure we can take this on our trip. 3 weekends, a long list, one old Jeep, and a 2,500 kilometer road trip waiting at the end of it.